So, hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. It's great to be with you all again. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Allie.
And I'm Stephen, and yeah, we are the Mindset Junkies.
We are. And we hope that you all enjoyed last week's episode on interrupting your pattern and the fabulous audio that exercise that Stephen created for us as well. And this is designed to help you interrupt your pattern of thoughts. And we are, as humans, all creatures of habit. So trying to change deep-rooted habits isn't as easy as it sounds. But hopefully, when you actually want to make those changes and actually achieve your life goals, changing your habits and changing your patterns will be something that you will, have an intention to do. And using the audio exercise that Stephen delivered last week will be a really, really strong aid memoir to help you get there.
Yeah, definitely agree. And, one of the things that we really wanted to bring out through this channel was some of the personal stories that both Ali and I can relate to. Like we love sharing these because we think back to when we was going through challenges and kind of wanting to make these kind of changes that we're hopefully helping you to. And, hearing stories from people who have been through it or are going through it was kind of a pivotal part of basically our own transition as well. So we've both naturally battled some of the obstacles and thoughts that you are experiencing. And it's just one thing that we want to emphasize is that we know that it's not easy. And you're not alone in kind of having these battles and kind of facing these difficulties. If we kind of reflect on even our own journeys now, they are still ongoing. We're 100% not the finished article. I don't think anyone in the world can claim to be a finished article. If you're not constantly learning, then you are basically getting left behind. Every single day, we're facing challenges, we're facing obstacles. These obstacles are probably the same things that you are as well. So we just want you to feel that we are here with you, that this is a safe space. So if you do want to kind of comment on the posts, if you want to come and join the group over on Facebook, then please do feel free, because our aim here is that this is developing into a like-minded community of people who are both using the techniques to develop themselves, as well as kind of bringing their own stories to the table as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to go pretty deep again on this particular episode because life's not easy, is it? We all have challenges, as you've just been said. So sometimes you have to dig deep. And this is another one of those sort of like deep subject matters. And what we want to talk to you about this week is finding your life's purpose. So some of you might be thinking, I get born, we live, and then I die. And for me, I actually think that it would be such a shame if our lives are really summarized in that particular way. I feel that knowing or creating your life's purpose makes your life feel worthwhile and meaningful. And it's a vocation. It's a feeling of contribution to something or someone that is much bigger than yourself. So how I like to look at purpose is almost like it's a map that I use to navigate my life. It's my compass. It's my reason for being. It's essentially my rudder that keeps me on track. And when someone says, do something with purpose, they actually mean that you should be doing it with intention. It's with conviction. It's with prior thought. But sometimes our purpose comes to us just in the moment. The example that I can think of is that, if there's a fire in the middle of the night in the house and the kids are still left in the house and the parents have been able to get out, the mother or father's purpose at that moment in time is to get back in and save their children. But it's not something that they would priorly have thought about, ever happening, because it's just one in a lifetime situations. So what we really mean here is something that you feel is actually your map of life, something that you feel that you're very strongly wedded to. And it really does demonstrate, I guess, the core values that you have inside. So we have a wonderful exercise coming up shortly that you're going to be running, Stephen, that will really help to try and drive out what our purpose actually is.
Just to bring that example to life a little bit, that example of basically rescuing a loved one from a disaster, that's based on something that is essentially, it's non-conditional. It's basically love, isn't it? And that can actually be someone's purpose. So in that example, the purpose may be related to something, but if you have to dig down deeper to find what it is, and the exercise will come onto this and explore it a little bit.
Yeah, so it's never too late to find your purpose. And, usually it's staring in your face and you just can't see it. So as we said, your exercise later will really hope to help to give our viewers an opportunity to start really navigating and researching and really thinking about that particular thing. And just getting back to what I said earlier on about, it'd be horrible to sort of like summarize our lives in terms of we're born, we live, and then we die. I don't know about you, but at least in my family, I've had so many examples of loved ones when it comes to the time of passing. And they say, what was my life all about? What did I accomplish? Did I waste my life because I had no purpose? I didn't know what my purpose was. And at the end of our days, I think we all believe that we want to leave some kind of legacy behind, a lasting impression that our loved ones will take with them. So, when we think about purpose, it might be that your purpose in life is to be a mother, but it's how you go about being a mother that makes it your purpose, or being a soldier because you feel a duty of care to complete strangers. It's to stand on a wall and protect us all no matter what. That is a purpose. That is a conviction. That is a conviction. Or maybe you just simply want to be a kind, loving person that has no hate in their heart. Whatever it is, and it becomes your reason for living, it's your why, and it's aligned, as we said earlier on, with your core values, and it's what it makes you authentic. So like I said, think of it like a rudder in your life, and once you find it, it really is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's definitely a beautiful thing once you discover it, and we'll come on to some tips after the video in terms of kind of where outside of the exercise we suggest that you have a look. And what I just want to do is just bring to life a bit of an example for me, and also Allie, it'd be great to hear yours as well, as to how you've basically arrived at your purpose. So for me, it was like I haven't always, for most of my life, I practiced meditation, and it was due to a bit of a breakthrough for me when I broke my leg in 2006, that I basically discovered mindfulness and meditation. And I wasn't in a good place. I was incredibly unhealthy. I was unfit. I lacked confidence, lacked belief. My life, it was questionable as to where it was actually going to go. I was basically depressed with what had actually happened. That kind of tipped me over the edge. It was kind of a bit of a, in the end, what turned out to be I've had enough moment here. But that was the setting of a foundation that, let's say, it must be like 10 years later, I started on this other journey. And it started off, I went to a program called Search Inside Yourself. And so this was a program born out of Google, which was about bridging mindfulness into the corporate world and making it appeal to people who like the analytic side of things. So looking at the neuroscience, the studies behind the practices, as well as kind of practicing in groups and things like that. It was absolutely fantastic. I remember meeting a couple of people there who were training to be teachers. And I thought, that's kind of interesting, but, that's not for me. So I left it. And a few years passed, and this program came up, led by Search Inside Yourself, to train to be a teacher. And it was just like, this has appeared once before. I'm going to explore this. And I decided to go in and do it. I didn't think anything of it. It was like, let's do this. It's something I'm passionate about. I want to help to bring it to the company that I worked for. So one of the prerequisites for getting sign-off for it is that you actually went off and did a silent meditation retreat. So I found an absolutely beautiful place in Devon called Gaia House. And the retreat was a 7-day retreat. Quite daunting, but it was actually very liberating. I would encourage anybody to go through some form of silent retreat. It offers so much reflection. And, that was the key point, that as soon as I kind of gave myself permission to detach from things that I was doing, that I was feeling, that I was experiencing, that's where the mind started to go a little bit crazy in a good way. because I started to visualize things. Like, it was a really deep insight-led experience that I had, where just about every single session we'd be given the prompts, but my mind was just, I was just thinking about about the experience I was having, about how I might bring this to other people. And what it culminated in, and every time I tell this, I've just had a shiver go down my spine, because I know I'm going to start talking about it. We lost my gran to a stroke in the October before I went, so it was October 2017. And my granddad hasn't been with us for, it's probably about 20 years. He passed away when I was very, very young. But when I was actually doing one of these meditations on one of the days, I actually had a very strong visualization, and it was around them. And it was about the pathway that I was starting to head down. And basically them giving the endorsement that, you're on the right path, just keep on going. You've got a lot that you can give within this space. So, that was a big wake up, because it's like things had started what was like 10 years before, 10, 12 years before, to align into this pathway. And then it's kind of led to me at that specific point in time with thoughts that I'd had of like, I think that I want to do this. I'm really passionate about it. I know what the impact is around this. And then that's how it absolutely blossomed. So for me now, the purpose is bringing these tools, these techniques to people who need them the most. So as you probably sensed from the meditation part of the video last week, that is something that I absolutely love doing. And hopefully you'll see it from this one as well as the obviously plenty of meditations and things that I would absolutely love to share with the group as well. But yeah, that's it for me. That's how I kind of discovered it. It's quite an incredible journey for me. And I'll come on to the tips later, actually. But Allie, it'd be great to kind of hear your view on your experience, your life purpose.
When we were looking to do this particular exercise, I really had to think back to, I know what my purpose in life is now, but what I'm 59. Have I only just found it? No, I haven't. I mean, my purpose in life actually came to me when I was 10 years old. And it was born out of something that was quite traumatic that happened to me when I was a little girl. And my purpose very quickly came to me that my purpose in life was to look after my little sister. I had to just protect her. I had to protect her from everything and everybody. And I know that my mum and dad thought it was a really well-intended, attribute of their little daughter. But I know my sister probably burst a few blood vessels with all the eye rolling that went on. But I literally would leap out of, anywhere just to make sure that, my sister was okay. I was always watching what was always going on. And I must have got into plenty of fights when I was younger, just really protecting my little sister. And that never really went away. Even when my mum and dad passed away, I still had this very strong conviction that I was here to look after my little sister, because there was really just her and I left. And then when I had my breakthrough, about 14 months or so ago, I had to revisit my purpose in life. It's not like the purpose to look after my sister had gone, but because of my life experiences and the knowledge that I had attained over all that time, I really had to look to see whether my purpose could be extended in some way, or was it going to be something that's completely new? And I've been coaching for a long time in corporate life, and having just gone through a really bit of a nasty time with menopause, I then realized that my purpose had now still been to look out for people, but to actually look at it in a very specific niche, something that I felt very passionate, very drawn towards, trying to help other people through the menopause. So that's what my purpose in life now is it's to help menopausal women and their partners navigate this life-changing experience so that they can still come out of the end of this and still feel that they have the quality of life that they want. especially for women who during the menopause do feel that their purpose in life has been taken from them or it has lost its way. So my purpose is to help them re-engage with that and find something new in themselves and in the quality of life that they have. But my purpose towards my little sister has never gone. So I've kind of like taken my nurturing aspect towards my sister Jill, and direct it very specifically towards this particular niche simply because of my own experience. So I feel very, very drawn, very wedded, very, very passionate about the job that I do. I don't see it as a job, really. I just see it as, it's just something that I do and I really enjoy doing. So, it's not that difficult if you really put your mind to it to actually find your purpose. So I'm really, really looking forward to going through this exercise this evening. And I know that you've particularly found journaling to be a really powerful activity to really help finding the purpose. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about it before we actually start the exercise, or shall we just dive right in?
Yeah, I'll just kind of pre-brief a little bit around it. So the thing that we need to think with this, for those that haven't done any journaling before, is that it's not like keeping a diary. It's not operating up here. Right? What we want to do is try to tune into our subconscious as best as possible. Similar to the last exercise where we was actually going deep into kind of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, we want to be tuning into that same kind of thing here, albeit we've got a pen and we've got a paper. So one of the things that I want you to do with this is that with your pen and paper, don't stop writing. So when I give you the prompt, just write and keep on writing. If you do find at some point that you don't have anything to write, which I guarantee you probably will reach this point at some point, just write, I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to write. I've got nothing to write. Or you can think of something creative to fill the void, because what you're then doing here is trying to connect into the subconscious to get to the real juice behind what it is that specific prompt is. That's the important part. We need to get out of here. We need to get down into the heart, down into the subconscious, into kind of what really, really matters to us, because it's there that we're going to make the most profound discovery. Be kind to yourself throughout this as well. There may be times when it is a bit rough, like the last practice. It may be like that again, but just bear in mind that the outcome for this is potentially, and I will say potentially, going to be something beautiful. If you don't get to a specific outcome, then just go again, just sit and reflect and just think about it. I know one common theme that you've hopefully taken away from both Allie and my example here is that it's not an overnight thing. That you're just not expected to do this exercise and automatically have everything in place. So just have a think about that. But Allie, unless there's any other points for you, then we'll actually roll this clip. Let's go. Journaling can be an incredibly powerful exercise when used in the right way, and it can actually fit quite a number of different contexts as well. So it can be used to help to reflect on certain experiences, so help us to understand ways that we can potentially develop, how we can improve, maybe helping to course correct and change a direction that we're on. What journaling also can do is help us with that forward-looking viewpoint as well. So help us to do things like discover our purpose, identify our passions, our motivations, help with goal setting. Essentially what it does, when used in the right way, is to tune into some of our subconscious thoughts, feelings, emotions. It's kind of tuning into that kind of deeper element of what it is that we're currently experiencing. So this is what makes it a really powerful exercise. Now, what the journaling that I'm talking about isn't maybe what we have been exposed to before. So what I mean by this is the journaling where we may have been kind of keeping a little bit of a log as the type of things that we've been doing during the day. I look to the journaling we did as children, right? Of keeping a diary and that kind of thing. It is a similar principle, but the key is the reflection is the really really different point in all of this. That what we're doing within these exercises is writing, but continuously writing. We're not sitting and trying to think what we're going to say. As soon as we pause and as soon as we begin to think, then that's when we're actually acting on a superfluous level. That's where we're not diving down into our subconscious. Whereas what we're trying to do is, by trying to write quickly, what we're essentially doing is bypassing some of our superfluous thoughts. We're tuning directly into our subconscious. And this is where the real gems sit. Because we often tell ourselves stories that we want to hear at that superfluous level. But what we really want, what we really truly deeply experience, what we feel, is actually at that subconscious level. So with these journaling exercises, we'll be doing it as a bit of a combination with meditation as well. So first, the way that we do this is that we position a prompt with you. We'll then be saying to write about that prompt for a good couple of minutes. Then we'll move on to the next prompt, and then the next prompt, and the next prompt, with little tiny pauses in between to just reflect, to just pause, to just distance ourselves from that specific question and answer. Right at the end, what we'll then have you do is sit back and read what you have written in its entirety. So at this point, you may pause the recording. As a closing exercise, we will then do a short visualization meditation. And this is where we're focusing purely on that purpose piece, on that passion piece, on that vision, identifying that kind of really forward-looking elements in that. So what we'll do is we'll get started. So what I'd like you to do is grab a pen and paper. So first, we're going to pause for a moment. We're going to sit and we're going to focus on our breath. So find yourself comfortable in a seated position. And let's start by taking a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. On your next inhale, just focus on breathing right down into the belly, feeling the belly expand before releasing. At this point, you may close your eyes or just lower your gaze slightly, just a few feet in front of you. Just focus once again on your breath, just feeling the sensations of breathing. It may be at the tip of the nostrils, it may be as the air flows down your throat, maybe the sensation of your chest and belly expanding and contracting. Just pay attention to the breath. What happens with each passing inhale and exhale? Let's just focus on the breath for 30 seconds or so. Paying just enough attention to keep us focused. As we now take one more deep inhale, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you now just open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room, just stretching as you need to. So the first prompt that I'm going to give you is, how are you feeling right now? That's how are you feeling right now? And just remember, keep on writing, don't stop writing. If you have nothing to say, just write, I have nothing to say. Just keep the pen moving. So we're going to go for 2.5 minutes. So that's the time. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So the next prompt, I'll ask you to reflect on your life. Now, what are you truly proud of? So reflecting on your life, what are you truly proud of? Once again, keep that pen moving throughout this next 2.5 minutes. So that's the time. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. The next prompt is, what could you talk or write about passionately for 30 minutes or more? So what could you talk or write about passionately for 30 minutes or more? And once again, just keeping the pen moving throughout this next 2.5 minutes. So that's the time. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So the next prompt is, as a child or teenager, what did you dream about doing? So as a child or teenager, what did you dream about doing? And once again, 2.5 minutes, and keep that pen writing. So that's the time. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. For this next prompt, I want you to explore what you would be doing if you were gifted $1 million. So what would you be doing with your life if you were gifted $1 million? So that's the time. Let's just pause for a moment and let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now the final prompt is to just explore how you would feel if you could do this right now. So how would you feel if you could do this right now at this moment in time? So that's the time for this final prompt. So let's pause again, just take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So I just want to explain a little bit about some of these questions and the flow of them. So what the intention is here is that we're having you really associate with the way that you are feeling right now, before then looking forward into things that basically ignite you, that light you up. And then once again, it's tuning a little bit deeper into the feelings and emotions that sit behind those things. Because what we want you to do is feel that drive, feel compelled to go and achieve that. And the way to do that is to link emotion to the vision, the purpose, the mission that then you begin to set for yourself. This association is so important. If we don't actually have this association, then quite literally all of our thoughts are just dreams. So what I want you to do for the next, however long it takes, just pause this video, pause this audio. I just want you to sit back and read everything that you have written. And then once you're ready, just come back and hit play, and we're going to close down with a visualization meditation on living that passion. So now that you've read that back, let's do a visualization exercise to help us to ground some of this in. So let's start by taking a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you take another deep inhale, once again, just focus on breathing down deep into the belly. Just feeling it expand and then contract as you release the breath. Just like you to close your eyes, just to prevent any visual distraction. So I just want you to think about the things that you wrote to some of these prompts. Bring to mind your passions based on what you wrote. Bring to mind the dreams that you had as a teenager or as a child. Bring to mind what you would be doing if you had been gifted $1 million. Just visualize you doing any of those things. Just imagine yourself living that life. Either talking passionately about your interests in front of a huge audience. About those dreams that you had as a child or teenager. About living them. You are there. It's what you are doing. Or if money was no object, just visualizing yourself doing the things that you wrote. Just deeply pay attention to what this version of yourself is doing. How happy they are what they are feeling. It may be the people that are around them. It may be the resources that they have available. It may be the impact that they are having on the world. What is that person feeling? Really tune in to how they are acting, how they look. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they motivated? Does it look like they are living their best life? And now tune in to yourself now as you're visualizing these people. Just realize that you are able to become that person. This exercise is just the start of that flow to reach that point in your life that you've just visualized. But in a number of years' time, that will be you. How does that feel? What emotions are coming up for you, realizing that you can be that person? You can have everything that they have. You can be instilling the impact that they are instilling. You can have the resources that they have. You can have the relationships that they have. You can be doing what they are doing. Let's take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now let's put a smile on our face and just know that the onus is on us. It's now clearer as to what we want to achieve within our life. And now we start the very exciting journey of making it happen. So once more, let's take a deep breath in through the nose and deep into the belly, and then out through the mouth. As you bring yourself back into the room and open your eyes. Let's just take a stretch. So stretch your arms, just change your physiology. If you're able to, just stand up out of your chair and just move about. Move your arms, move your legs, move your head, whatever is appropriate for you at this time. And now begin to reflect and consider just on what actions you need to take on the back of this discovery. And well done. It often takes people a long time to get to this stage, and you're at the start of an incredible and exciting journey ahead.
So, Stephen, that was absolutely incredible. I loved it. Again, a really, really powerful descriptive exercise that really helps people to calmly and succinctly get really deep down into the subconscious layers, which is really where all the answers lie. The digger you deep, the better the answers and the better the output that you get. So very challenging to start with, but really when you stick with it, the benefits and the rewards really start to leap out on the page straight away. And I personally journal now every single day, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. So I loved it. I hope the viewers did as well.
Yeah, it's good to hear. As I've said with this, if you didn't reach the outcome that you desired, then just please do give it time. Just go back, just explore it. Maybe have some different prompts, ask yourself different questions. Journaling doesn't need to be a one-dimensional thing. Just flex it as you need. There's some absolutely great books out there. Like one of them that I've used in the past is called The Artist's Way. This offers like a instructive guide to kind of different prompts to exploring basically your creativity and its like innovation and all that kind of thing. It's a great piece of I call it a piece of kit, but it's basically a book with a guide in it and things. Yeah.
I just wanted to maybe share with you as well a little thing that happened to me a few years ago, quite a few years ago now. I found myself one Christmas on my own, in my own flat, with the prospects of spending Christmas all on my own. And I was feeling pretty hard done by, pretty lonely. And I thought, how was I going to spend my time? And I could feel myself probably getting quite anxious and maybe even slipping into a little bit of depression. So that Christmas, I went and volunteered at a soup kitchen. Not something I thought that I would ever do, but I just went and did it. I went and volunteered, and I actually had such an amazing day. And sometimes just going through that particular process of selflessly giving your time to a charity or an organization or a cause that brings joy to other people is a really, really good way to decompartmentalize some of your loneliness or your anxiety or your depression into something where you feel that you have actually got the capability and the abilities to actually give something back. So I would always say that, if you're really struggling with your purpose, or you may be struggling a little bit with your mental health, you feel that you're slipping into a sort of maelstrom of anxious thoughts and behaviors, go and do some volunteering. Donate time or money or talent to something or an organization that would really benefit from it. It's another really great way then after that situation is to then get into the journaling again and really explore how you felt. What did you see? What did you hear? What was your own heart and head telling you at the time that you're actually doing it? And again, you'll start to really feed your subconscious with parts of yourself that you didn't necessarily realize had existed. So, I think that's really quite an interesting exercise to actually go into as well, if you are really finding this, something that you're struggling with.
Definitely is. I like that idea. That I really do. The giving back is something that can help to explore and reaffirm some of this. Yeah, great point there, Ali. What I said I was going to do is basically offer a bit more guidance, a bit more advice for those of you who are new to this journaling process. And I think first and foremost, as I mentioned before the exercise, that you need to be kind to yourself. If you set the expectation in your mind that you want a certain outcome, just because you don't get to that outcome after the very first session doesn't mean that it's failed you. Just keep on plugging away at it. Just keep on going. You heard from both mine and Ali's example that it wasn't an overnight thing. Right, so it's been 14 months in the working for Ali, if not longer. She even mentioned the very first discovery of it when she was younger and protecting her sister. For me, I was talking back in 2006 when the very first inkling came about for me of this whole thing. Now, what we're not saying is that this is going to take like many years, like 10 years to come to. But it's just to recognize that there is a journey of self-discovery that you need to go on. And hopefully this exercise that we've set here is kind of a really powerful one in helping you along with this. I think some of the things is about self-awareness. So the more that you can kind of explore your own thoughts, your own feelings, your emotions, the better that is actually going to be for you, because that's how you kind of really gain insight. That's how you really begin to take control of things as well. If you can begin to both recognize them, you essentially have to be aware of things going on before you are actually able to go and take control and take some form of action. I don't know if there's anything else in terms of any advice or guidance. One more thing. There are different forms of journaling that you can go and do. So one thing we was promoting here, we maybe didn't suggest it, is that it was actually a long form exercise that you're writing here. It doesn't have to be that way. Bullet journaling is something that is quite popular and something that I've used to quite a big degree. This is just where you have one-liners, and what you may do per day, if you want to go and explore these prompts, is to just do 5 per day and just do them on repeat every day. Go back, do the same prompts, and just see what keeps coming up for you over a regular basis. Just flex your style. Just figure out what works for you with all of this stuff. Do you have anything else that you want to add there, Allie?
No, I think you make a really good point about the journaling. And the only thing I was going to add as well is that, especially if you're joining us on this particular episode, is go back and actually look at some of our previous ones as well, because we are hopefully take you on a little bit of a journey that is just building all of the time. So go back to maybe some of our previous episodes where we're talking about, interrupting your patterns, or how do you find your core values. So, and especially next week when we're going to start talking about limiting beliefs.
Yeah, so limiting beliefs, this is a absolutely massive topic that we have coming up here. I think I say that about every single one of these because I think they've played a massive role in our life, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the reason this is so important is because this is the stories that we are telling ourselves that we can't do it, that will fail, that will screw it up, that essentially we don't deserve success. So, in combination with all of these other ones, this is also going to be an important discussion. And if I remember right, we've got it down as a couple of parters, this one.
We have. We've got it in 2 parts. So we want to also talk about empowering beliefs as well. No point just talking about limiting beliefs. Let's talk about the empowering stuff as well. So we really hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. We've really enjoyed exploring it and revisiting it again. Again, please subscribe to our channel, like and share if you think it's worth a like and a share. We want to be able to continue to bring you content like this. And I definitely look forward to diving into limiting beliefs with you again next week, Stephen, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, me too. It'll be a good one. And join the Facebook group. It'd be great to have you in there.
Please, yeah. Love to see you there as well.
All right. Enjoy.